Hi, welcome to Edu4Sure online things, and this is all about insertions, and this session is all about ways to insert data into SQL Server tables, like what are all the possible ways wherein we can insert data into the tables. So before we get into the topic, so let us quickly understand what all system databases have we got, and what do they do in general, like how many system databases and what do they do in general. So if you can look into the left hand side of your object explorer, the one I have selected over here. So system databases, we have got 4 system databases. The very first system database is master database. What does a master database do? Well, master database has got the server related configuration with it. When I was say configuration, it means like you might just a minute, I'm sorry. Sorry. Well, yeah. Uh, in general, we keep on asking about the configurations. Like whenever we buy a laptop, we will ask a person whenever we are able to buy a laptop or some PC or remote desktop or something. Sorry, it is not remote desktop. Whenever we are able to buy some desktops or laptops, we are very much interested in the configuration. The more the configuration, the better it will work. Likewise, SQL Server, the entire configuration of the SQL Server is resides in the master database. So it is very much important for us to take a backup of this master database, like without which the server can't be started, right? So the next one in the system databases is the model database, and this model databases, sorry, and the model database. Well, model database is nothing but a template database, and this template database is used in the creation of new databases. What does it mean whenever they say a template? Say if at all you do have a knowledge on working with Excel, we have a template in the very first page, and we can create copies of the template. What happens when I say copy? Like the prerequisites, like the properties to create tables. Okay, speaking in specific about Excel, say if at all we are provided with some formulas and some column names, all we need to do is we need to capture data on daily basis. So, but a template is provided in the very first page. So, and we need to maintain the data each and every day as per the template provided to us. So, what do? We just right click on it, and we select an option called copy, and we bring on the copy of the template, and we start working on it on daily basis. That is how we do, which means we are not disturbing the template. The template remains the same, but we are making use of the template page, and we come up with our own data, and depending upon the data we provide, the formulas are already present in that Excel workbook, I mean in that template page, and again the formulas applies and we get the results. That's how the working is same. Whenever working of model database is also same. It has got a template database, which means it has got the functions, everything, the programs, how to create a tables, everything is provided in this model database. Or what all we do is whenever we create a new database, the model database uses the template of the existing database, and that is how a new database gets created, and we can start working. So as in when you create a new database, see, let us create a new sample database. We don't have database over here. You can check it over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 database, altogether 7 database, including system databases. So if I say, and the syntax to create the database is you create the database, and name of the database, sample database. Say execute. Command completed successfully, which means a database has been created. How do we see that? Right click on the database folder and click on refresh. You will be able to see sample databases. So how do we get all this? Database diagrams, tables, folders, views, synonyms, programmability, service broker, storage, security. How do we get all this stuff? And how did we get the system tables and system stored procedures? How did we get all this stuff? Because model database is the one which provides us the template. So all this template is available in the model database, and whenever you create a new database, the model database it is a template database using creation of the new database. Hope you're clear. Like the programming logic and speaking in Excel point of view. So everything resets in the page number 1. I mean, the very first page, the logic, the column headers, the serial numbers, and everything. What all we need to do on daily basis, we need to capture some data, and the functions, everything that is already built up in that page, they applies automatically, and we get some outputs, and we maintain the page. That is how it works when it comes to model database in SQL Server. So we are just correlating things between Excel and model database. And what's in the line in system databases? MSDB, Microsoft Database. What does MSDB do? It stores information related to database backups. Like whenever we create a backup of databases, MSDB is the one which is used to help us in storing the database backups, the packages, replications, SQL agent information, and SQL Server jobs. So just try to keep these things in mind. So whenever you create some backups, or whenever you create a job, so what is this job? Well, when I say job, it means so as to automate our work. See, suppose we have created a stored procedure, and that stored procedure, I wanted to run the stored procedure every day before 12 o'clock. Like say, suppose I have 2 stored procedures, like what does that stored procedure do? It creates a table. One stored procedure creates a table, and the other stored procedure deletes a table, drops a table, right? Every other day we are creating a table and we are dropping it. So what do we do? So at 12:1, I want a stored procedure which creates a table to be run at 12:5. Say suppose 12:5, I wanted to create a table, and again 12:5 a.m. 12:5 a.m. I mean, and at again 23:55, I wanted to drop the table. So what is that I'm doing? I'm making use of table. I'm creating a table I'm creating and dropping a table on daily basis. So when am I creating the table? I just wanted to create the table at the very beginning of the day, and I wanted to drop the table before closing of the day, 5 minutes before and 5 minutes after beginning of the day, and 5 minutes before closing of the day. So why do I do that? Maybe because of the business requirements or to meet some specific client requirements, I'm doing this. So how do I do that? So we won't be working till 12 in the morning or 11 in the night. We won't be doing that. So what do we do that? So as to automate some procedure, so as to automate the some of our works, we make use of job. We create jobs, and we create jobs so that whenever we create a job, it asks for the basic information. What is that you wanted to run? I wanted to run a stored procedure, just select that. I will show you. I will show you shortly. We have a clear session on jobs, SQL Server jobs. We will work on it shortly. So for time being, just to understand, a job is nothing but a scheduled stored procedure, a scheduled program which needs to be run on daily basis or on monthly basis or on weekly basis or on custom. We do also have an option called custom, so that we can give upon the time. So at this particular time, run this job, and the job gets executed until and unless the SQL Server is running. As the server is always up 24/7, so the procedures that is already created, whenever we schedule a job, So it picks up the procedure and it executes the procedure at the particular time chosen by us. That is how the job does. So MSDB database is used to store information related to database backups and SQL Server jobs and replications. And all this. Even the replications, backups, they all fall in the same line. This is all about database backups. And last but not the least, and this is pretty important database, TEMPDB database. What is temporary database? What do we do with that? Temporary database is used to store objects like temporary tables and temporary stored procedures. So we have a lengthy session on temporary tables and temporary stored procedures. How many types of temporary tables have we got, and what do we do with these temporary tables and temporary stored procedures, and what is the scope of temporary table? So all this is covered in a lengthy session of temporary table, right? So this is what all 4 system databases do in SSMS. So master is used to store the system's server configuration. Model is used to create a variety of databases, and it is a template of database. It is a template database, and MSDB is used to store database backups and SQL Server jobs, replications, etc. Temporary DB is a temporary database. The name itself is self-explanatory. Temporary databases store temporary objects. Objects as in temporary tables and temporary stored procedures. The basic functions of master, MSDB, model, TEMPDB, and resource databases. So what is resource over here again? So you can ignore this. So we only discuss about these 4 important system databases. So like I said, master database is used to store the information of all the databases on the SQL Server, right? The SQL Server cannot start if the database is not configured properly. The MSDB database stores information regarding data, backups, SQL agent information, packages, SQL Server jobs, and some replication information such as log shipping. This is a huge concept, log shipping. This is all about a DBD is responsible only for development stuff, and these are much into administration topics. So you can ignore them for now. So log shipping is a lengthy concept and one interesting concept when it comes to some backups and recoveries. So TEMPDB used it to store temporary objects such as global, local, temporary tables, and stored procedures as well. And the model is essentially a template database used in the creation of any new user database created in the instance, like we did a couple of minutes before. Like we have created a sample database over here, and whenever I say create database name, this database is created with the help of this model database, because this is the template of the database, and all the configurations with respect to the sample database is stored in the master database. And whenever we create a job in the sample database, MSDB is the one which plays a vital role. And if at all we are making use of any local or global temporary tables and local or global stored procedures, and TEMPDB is, you can see all these 4 databases in the newly created database as well. So I have opened the sample database, which is created by me right before, and I'm sorry. So we don't find all this stuff, but we get access to these system databases. As in when a new database is created, we get access to these system databases. So this is all about what do we say? Introduction to system databases, and let's get into our actual topic today, which is ways to insert data. So what is the standard way to insert a data into a table? Say if at all, and let me create a table. Create table sample sample. If I say serial number, type in serial name, product name, varchar and 50. Let's create this table. Oh, we have we already have table name. So what I'll do is I'll take table samples. I'll do this. Add an S and see. Yeah, table has been created successfully. Now I wanted to insert data into this table. What is the standard way to insert data? If at all you want to insert some testing data into this, insert into TBL samples. Values, I say, I would say 1, and I can say product name as TCL. If I click on execute, one row has been affected, and if you want to see if the row has been affected into the inserted into the table or not, what is the standard syntax? What is the retrieval command to check if the data has been inserted into TBL samples? Select start from table name. Here in our case, the table name is TBL underscore samples. So see, the record has been inserted. What is another way to insert data into the table by making use? Can we do it in another way, other possible way? This is one standard type, right? And how can we add multiple data into this table in a single shot? Yes, we can. How do we do that? Insert into TBL samples. I'll copy this. Open brackets 2. Let me call this as BPL, comma, or comma 3, comma, and what's the other one? MI is one other television I have got, and 4, comma, I can say Panasonic. I can say 5. I can say Samsung. Yeah, can I do this? Can I insert it? Can I insert stuff in this way, like multiple values, multiple into table? Single value insertion. Let us see if this works or not. As of now, we have got only one record in this TBL samples table. Let me run this command, insert it to TBL samples values, and click on execute, and let us see. 4 rows has been executed, which means we can also insert values, multiple values at a time. Let us see now. Yeah, fine. So what, there is another way to insert values into a table by making use of union of set operators. Hope you are clear how set operator works. So whenever we are working with set operators, we need to make sure the order of the columns and the data type of the columns should be same. If there is if there is any difference in this, we get an error. Possibility of error is high. So we need to make sure whenever we are working with set operators, the order of the columns and the data types of the columns should be one and same, right? Let us see, how do we do this? Insert into TBL samples, select. Now we are done with 5. 6, comma, I would say Redmi union all. Copy paste this to save our time. 7 would be Ida. 8 would be Kodak. So let us see if I can insert data into this table by making use of union or condition, right? Zeros have been inserted. So this is another way to execute data. So till now, we have seen 3 ways to insert data into the tables. Have you got any other ways? Can we insert data into a table by making use of a stored procedure? Yes, we can. So I might use a different So now, so let me first create a sample stored procedure. How do we create a stored procedure? And if you're not clear with the topic on how what is stored procedure and how stored procedure works and what is the use of stored procedure, we have videos recorded on stored procedure. Please look into that for better understanding. So what is the syntax to create a stored procedure? It is create procedure, sample procedure, sample procedure. And I don't want any input parameters for this. So I'll create a plain stored procedure as begin and end is our syntax. Create procedure, name of the procedure as begin and whatever the query we are running over here, we can run here, right? So what I'll do is like I'll call some data. Select star from customers or customer callers. Let us see if okay, we got this data. We don't want this. So this TV products. Let us see if I get anything. Okay. I don't find the data in TV products as well. Products table, product dot. So open this AdventureWorks 2014 database and click on tables. You'll be able to see some production product. Okay. Let us look into this if we get anything. Oh. It's not product. There is typo error over here. Execute and see. Yeah, we can make use of these column names over here. How do I do that? Like I'm calling, treat them as some television names or something, some product names, right? So product description, this would work. Copy this and description. Let us see if this has got some meaningful names in it. Still, okay, these are lengthy. Still, okay, so this is in all languages. This is hopefully the description would be of type in varchar. So how do we check for this structure of a table? I mean description of a table, sp underscore help, and the table name product description. Yeah, product description. So type 800. Fine. So what do we do is like we'll make use of the product table and we take some data from here. As this is just a demo, you can make use of in real time. If you're working with the right tables, you get the right data. So for time being, what I'll do is I'll take data from this table and I'll take these 3 records where product ID in 316, 317, 318. Gives me what? 3 records, not star. Like I just wanted to insert whatever the data I'm getting, whatever the result set I get after executing the sample proc. I want this data to be inserted into the table. So I don't want star. I've got only 2 columns over there. One is I just want the product ID and the product description, right? Product ID, select from the IntelliSense, and you wanted the name. So just see, you would get 316 blade, 317 LL crankum, and I would take 320. 3 different names. I have selected only these 3. See, I want this to be inserted into our table samples. How do I do that? First, let me create the stored procedure. So this is what all I wanted. Okay, a stored procedure has been created successfully. Now let us see. What I wanted to do. Let us see what have we got in this table samples. Okay. Yeah, till late we have got. Now further we are able to add what 316, 317, 320. This the output of this we are adding the output of this into our table samples, right? How do we do that? Simple. It is see the command goes something like this: insert into TBL samples, execute sample prop. So before we insert this into this TBL samples table, let me execute the procedure and see the output of the procedure remains same irrespective of the number of times you execute it, because we have hard coded that we only wanted three product ID and name of product IDs where 316, 317, 320. I mean, sorry, we wanted product ID and name of the from the product tables where the product ID is 316, 317, 320. Okay, so let me execute this and see if this is what we are expecting. Yes, whatever the output we are expecting, that is what we are getting it. So now I want these three records to be inserted into this TBL samples. Let me run this, and any guesses? Will this gonna be throw me and will this gonna throw an error, or it will be a smooth run for me? This will be a smooth run. So this is how you can also insert data into a table by making use of a store procedure, right? So select star from TBL samples and see these records are again appended over here. So we have seen 4 ways to insert data into a table using store procedure, and there is another way wherein we can get the data. Say I wanted to get data from a different database. Okay, so we would generate scripts. So for 4 ways we have seen. So let us see the 5th way by generating scripts. How do we do that? Say I want the data from test arena. Let us see, have we got any tables in the test arena database? Yes, we have got. We have what? Immensity. Let us look into this table, or we'll take exam result. So as to access test arena database, select the database and right click on it, see new query, right? So select star from what is the table we want to read. Let us read departments table. We have got 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, but the data is not in sync. So what do we do is let us see data TBL general. Even this is not good. Let us see some other tables. Let us look into table T3. It's blank. Let us see some just table. Yeah. Let us take these values. Like we don't have any. The thing is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are already available in our sample databases. So what do we do is we will generate data. I mean, or we add something to this data. So can we change the ID value over? Yes, we can do that, because what I mean to say is our table TBL samples, we are able to insert data from this table into this table. Okay, so let me add some sample rows into this table. Insert into table, test table, values. I would say 22 as what is that I wanted to add? Nokia, right? And 7 would go with Micromax. 8 would go with what? Toshiba. Okay. Let me just go export. Okay. See, whenever you're working with an identity column, what does this error say? Like there is an identity column in test table. Okay, so how we check that? So as to open the description of the table structure, the command is sp_help test table. Okay. Let us see where do we have this identity column. We have got identity column on top of ID column, identity property on top of ID column, and the seed value is 1, increment is 1. Okay, if at all, so what do we do in case of identity column? We don't pass the column values, we don't pass values for ID column, so they get automatically generated. But in our case, if at all, is there a way wherein I can override this and stop generating the column value automatically, and I want the test table to consider the values provided by me from this SSMS editor? Can we do that? Yes, we can do that by stopping the identity function for a while. But this is not advisable to stop whenever we have some identity property on top of a column. You're not supposed to stop it. But for better understanding, for only for knowledge purpose, I am sharing this thing with you. We can stop this by passing this command set identity underscore insert on table on column name ID. Sorry. So this is a command to enable identity insert, forceful insertion of identity, values into identity column. So that is set identity insert. What is the table name? Test table on. As we have got only one identity, identity property on top of only one column in a table, and that is the limitation we have got whenever we are using identity the property on top of a column. It is identity property is to be created on only on top of one column. No other column is allowed to. SSMS don't allow where we have what you don't find any scenario wherein you will find two identity columns in the single table. So we are setting the identity insert on whatever the table you are working with on that table as on. Now let us see if we can insert these values into this table or not. I'm sorry, I think this should be off. Command completed successfully. Then I call. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, just look into this error over here. Whenever you are pushing data into table and that particular table column has got identity property on top of it, then it is mandatory to pass the column names as well. ID comma, what is that? The other one we have got test table F5 value on. Now set this on, execute, run this command. So before I run that command, for better understanding, I'm running select star from test table We have got 6 records. The last record is 6 and which are 900. And run this command to see if we can insert values into a table where we have identity property on top of a function. 3 rows has been affected, which means this is forceful insertion of records into a table where even though we have got identity column which does not accept value just like that, we are setting it on for time being, and we need to make sure that we need to turn it off as well. After you turn it off, it does not allow. Again, the identity property works as usual. It generates values on its own. Now, even so, for a testing purpose, you can run this command and see it again throws you an error. So identity is set to off. So which means we need to set it to on, and again we can run it. Now let us see if these 3 records are inserted into this table or not. Right? We have got these 3 records over here. So what I'll do is I want these 3 records. I want these 3 records to be taken out, and I want these 3 records to be inserted into our TBL_samples table. How do I do that? So select star from just a table where result ID greater than 6, which gives me the latest 3 records. Okay, I want these records. So what we'll do is click on databases. Sorry, I think we are in test arena now. Tasks, export data. Okay, how do we do that? So upon clicking on the export data, a new wizard comes up. So welcome to SQL Server import and export wizard. So click on next. Our data source is we are working with SQL native client. So by default, if you are getting the SQL native client, we let it as is, and we can go ahead with the other one. So let's wait for a couple of minutes. If at all you're opening this for the very first time, it takes some time. So yeah, by default, it is giving me as .NET. We don't want this. So look into this and we'll choose the right, see here, we'll take this SQL Server native client. So my server name is localhost. I'll go with the authentication SA. You need to come up with your user credentials. Okay, the database is test arena. You can click on next. Right, and this is destination, that was source. Okay, let me get back and see. This is choose a data source for data source. So we are getting data from one database and we are pushing it to a different database. So here we have got 2 databases. One, wherever we are getting the data, that database will be called as source database, and the data which is to be which we are pushing it, I mean we are inserting it in, will be the destination database. So we are getting data from the destinations and we are inserting data into the we are getting data from the source database and we are pushing the data into the destination database, right? So click on next, and again we need to choose things accordingly. Network, framework, data provider. So again, as we are pushing data into this, we'll select this, and the server name would be localhost again. Okay, sorry. Server name would be localhost again, as I've got, sorry, localhost. As these 2 databases resides in the same server, I'm giving the localhost only. So from the drop down, select the right database where you wanted to push that into. So like I'm working with AdventureWorks 2014. So I've set, now I have set source and destination databases. I'll click on next. Okay. Copy data from one or more tables. Either you can copy data directly from the tables, or you can give a query for the, if at all you want to use filters, if you want only few rows to be taken, few columns to be considered, then make use of the second, write a query, second radio button, write a query to specify the data to transfer. Or you can straight away, if you want to dump the entire table from one database to other, just go with the very first this thing. So here in our case, I would go with this second command. Okay, I need to come up with a query. So this is my query. So I'll parse is nothing but validating. The SQL statement is valid now. Fine. So we have got only 2 columns, so it is okay if I can put star, or I can come up with the column names as well. Values. It checks if syntactically it checks everything. Would not be passed. Why? The column name is wrong here. It is value, ID comma value. Now let us pass again. See, the statement is valid now. Click on next. Yeah, so source query, review query, find edit mappings to see the data types. For ID, what is that? It is what is that the SQL Server import wizard has. It takes the structure from the queries database. So let us see. So it is take for ID, the data type chosen by SSMS database engine as int. For value, it is choosing it as nvarchar, which is also a string. So not a problem. We can still go ahead. Okay, and before we do this, just create a preview. Okay, but you see, we are not straight away taking this. We are not straight away pushing the data into the destination table. We are just getting the data from one database to another database. And again, how do we do that? We can, okay, I'll also show you that. Not a problem. Append rows to the destination table. We've got the table over here. So let me see if we can do this. Yeah, there is a way wherein we can TBL samples. I need to check for TBL samples table. See, yeah, here it is. Now, click on next. What this is gonna do? Value nvarchar, use global. So can I change this? Ignore. Okay, this is because this one is okay, but destination type is varchar, and but here the source type is nvarchar. So what is that query? So so this is where the database from nvarchar, it is going down, potential loss conversion from nvarchar. So this is the challenge we are coming across. If it is varchar, then it would have been easy for us to go ahead. Okay, what I'll do is I'll go back and I'll convert this to, I'll do a manual conversion. Cast as varchar of 10. Let us see if this is converted successfully. Parse. This is valid. So what have I done? Like I'm like our destination column type is varchar. I'm converting it to varchar instead of nvarchar. Let us see if this works or not. Okay, now we can go ahead. Let us preview and see. Yeah, this is working fine. Now we don't see such errors. Now edit mapping. See, it is varchar. We don't get that error now. Create destination table. We don't need it. Why are we creating this? Okay. Go back. Next. Let us change this. We will choose our destination table as TBL samples, which is readily available, right? And what do we not? What we wanted to do? What are we expecting? We want this, whatever the new records that needs to be appended. TBL samples and preview. Let us see. Okay. Edit mappings. product name varchar, append rows to the destination table. Fine, done. Enable identity insert. No, I don't want that to be done as is. So whenever say append rows, by default, see it is automatically when if we are working with a query and if we don't have any table, so this particular radio button gets activated, which means create a destination table as per the suggestions provided by database engine, like take for id treat it as type int, and for value treat it as type string, and these are the default values provided by the database engine itself. This is purely the business intelligence. And now as we are pushing the data into the existing tables, this is automatically deactivated. And what is that? It is selected by default, append the rows to our destination tables, which means the database engine is asking this so-called, the instructions provided by database engine to this wizard is take the tables, take the rows, and append them after the last row. What is the last row we have got over there? Let us see. It is 320 shining bolts. Append the rows after this 320. That is what it is saying. Click on OK, next, and run immediately. Finish. Now just wait and see if success. 3 rows has been transferred, and let us see if these 3 rows. What are the 3 rows? Nokia, Micromax, and Toshiba. If you see these 3 rows into the destination table or not. Okay. Select. Let's copy paste this. You see them over here? Perfect. This is what we are expecting. So we can also import data from different databases by making use of SQL Server import and export. And there is also, we have got one more way by generating scripts. This is by making use of SQL Server import export wizard. What is the other way? 6th way is to use of generate scripts. How do we do this? So again, we'll get back into this test database, and what I'll do is again let us insert a few more records into this table. So as the identity, as we have got the identity property on top of ID column, we'll disable it by executing this command. Let me pass few more values. 331 would be new TV. Where is on? No. What is that? Del. And 329 would be Garuda. This will be satellite TV. 45. So I want these more 3 records to be inserted into this table. Click on execute. 3 rows affected. Now I want the identity function on top of this column to work as usual. So I'll set this manual insertion to off. Just see if we have turned it off or not. We have turned it off perfectly. So after select, let us check if these 3 records have been inserted into the table test table. Sorry. So what is that? See, it is over here. 329 is Gerda, 331 is Dell, and 345 is satellite. So I want only these 3 records where ID in 329, or you can say something like this. Where ID greater than 300. I would only get 3 records again, right? So again, how do we do this? Let's close this. This is done. So now what do? We generate records. We'll do one thing. We'll take this out in an Excel. We'll export this into an Excel format or CSV format, whatever that, or some TXT format, and then again we'll import it. So this is a new style we do. I mean, we take the table out from a database into a what do you say, into some flat files. So I just wanted to create a dummy table into some test table dummy. What does this do? So whatever the records that are already, whatever the records that this particular statement generate will be, I'm asking the database engine to put the result set, what are the result set I'm getting, consider the result set and put them into this test table dummy. This is what the command is saying. So I'll run this. 3 rows affected and select star from, I can see these 3 rows in this test table underscore dummy. See these 3 records. So now we'll take this records out from this test table dummy and we do what do? We generate insert scripts and we insert them. How do we generate insert scripts from the table? Like now we are into this tested table. Right click on this and filter them. I don't want to see all the tables. I don't want myself to be bombarded. So what I'll do is I filter the tables and I use this test table underscore dummy as a name, contains here and a value for this name, test table underscore dummy. This is the one I'm provided. I say okay. Now if you expand, you'll only see one table, right? Select the table, right click on it, and can say okay, insert into. This is one more way wherein you can do you can generate insert script. See, but okay, this is not what we are expecting. I'll close this. So what we'll do is get back here, click on the database test arena, right click on this, click on tasks, come down and you say generate scripts over here. Select, click on generate scripts. Now you'll see a new wizard gets opened up. Okay, click on next, and now here you need to choose objects. If you want to generate scripts for the entire objects, the DDL and DML, you can do you can simply click on next and select the script entire database and all of this, so that say whenever you are asked to generate, take all the scripts, create all the table in basic table scripts and insert scripts from an existing database. This is what you need to do. Right click on the database, click on generate task, generates what is that we did, sorry, we'll do it again. Right click on tasks and generate scripts. This opens up a new window. So generate scripts for database objects, click on next. If you want to generate scripts for the entire objects, let go with the first options. And if you are specific with any table or stored procedure or review or user defined function, click on the select, click on the next available radio button. And you want a tables. If you want to select all the tables, you check it. If you are specific with the table name, just go for the table, check for the table name, select it, and you can say next. Now what you want to do with the output? Save scripts to a specific location. If you want to save it to a specific location, what? Look into this window and choose stuff accordingly. If you want the scripts to be generated on a new query window, select this. Or if you want a file to be generated, you can do this by selecting save to file. And whenever you're doing this, it is mandatory you check this advanced button and scroll down. You'll find here types of data to scripts. It is not only schema. If you're going only with the schema, you'll only get the DDL part. You won't get the insertion scripts. If you want both schema and data, click on this, right? So as of now, I don't want this. I'm not going with the file. I just go. I just wanted the scripts to be generated in a new query window so that I can copy paste them. I click on next. I'll say next. Wait for the insert scripts to be generated. See, minimize this and see. We have got 3 scripts generated. Set identity insert on. See, look at the intelligence of the SQL Server database engine, it knows, like whenever we are working with a table, it is aware that there is an identity column. So so as to generate this, it has to turn the values on, and again it is setting it to off. So what all we needed only these three scripts. Copy them, come back to the database you're working with. It is AdventureWorks. Get down over here, paste them over here. What is the table you're working with? I have already explained. DBO is nothing but the scheme owner. It's an owner name. It doesn't matter if you take it out or if you let it go. But what is that table name? But make sure you need to change the table name. Like you are inserting it into TBL samples, so change the table name accordingly, right? And the column names as well. So I'll take them out. Like the column names are different, but the data types are same. So I'm just taking them out. So if I click on, if I select them and execute, so will this be executed? Let us see. So before I execute the command, so let us see what is that we have got in the TBL samples. The last record is 28 and Toshiba. Now I'm expecting 329 Garuda or satellite. 345 satellite. I'm expecting this record to be the last record in this TBL samples. Execute. Rows have been affected. Let us open them and see. See. Toshiba satellite. Yeah, here it is. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, here they are. 329 Garuda, 331 Dell, and 345 satellite. Got them. And there is one more way wherein you can insert the records from the flat files. From flat files. So how do you do that? First, you need to export, and then you need to, okay, I think I've already got one. Yeah, book one is my readily available data I've got. Say, whenever you're working with, sorry, just give me a minute. Yeah, I've opened book one. So just wait. Let us wait and see. Okay. So we are done with this. We can click on finish. So now what I'll do is, there is one more way wherein we can get data into the database by making use of the flat files. Flat files can be anything. It could be .xls files or .csv files or .txt files, whatever it is. So as of now, I think I've got some data in this book one spreadsheet. Open the properties, and I want this to be open with MS Office, but not the WPS Writer. Change this. Yeah, Microsoft Office Excel. Apply and okay. Right. Now let me open this book one spreadsheet. Excel workbook. Let me open this book one Excel workbook. It's taking time, no worries. Oh. Okay, not a problem. Filing news, I think. Okay. Close this. I'll reopen it again. Let us see if I can read the data from this. Yeah. See, here I've got two tables, TBL departments and TBL production locations. So I just want this data to be inserted into database. So for time being, I'll get back to this test arena. I'll close this we are done. I'll close this. I'll get back to this test arena database and I'll create tables, these two tables, TBL departments and TBL product locations. Okay. How do I do that? Now what I'll do is, as I wanted to create them here, I'll click on the database, right click, and I can say tasks, import data. Click on next. So the data source I've got over here is this. So what is the data source here? That's an Excel workbook, right? So I'll select Microsoft Excel as my data source, and I need to come up with the path where actually this workbook is being stored. So it is over here. Book 1 is my workbook. It is 2007. Yeah, first row has column names. Have you got the column names? Yes, I have got the column names. Okay, I'll close this. Okay, and I'll click on next. Okay, what is the destination? It's SQL client, right? So I'll choose this. As I've got the credentials, I'll choose SQL Server authentication. Okay, and the database, whatever the database you want, I just want this to be pushed into test arena. Why? Because AdventureWorks, I already have got the table, the sample data in it. I don't want to drop them and recreate them. So I'll choose a different database and I'll click on next. Copy data from one or more tables. So last time we used this. Now I wanted to use this. Let's go with this. Okay. So see, it is pretty intelligent. Our workbook has got 3 sheets and I want data from these 2 sheets only. So let us preview the data. So perfect for this table. So this is the query which is running behind the scenes. Okay. And preview this data as well, department. So this is the query running which is running behind the scenes. Okay. Click on next. If you want this to be run immediately, click on next. Say finish. Let's wait and see if this is done. 16 rows transferred, 14 rows transferred. Close and see. Let us see in test arena if at all we have got these tables or not. So we have filtered the tables. If you remember, we have filtered them. What I'll do is now I'll remove the filters and let me see. See, we have got these 2 tables, TBL department, TBL product locations, right? Copy them, select the star from this, and there is another table, and also write the command for retrieval, data retrieval. So run this. See, this is what 14 rows. So let me open the workbook again. There is that book. Yeah, here it is. Departments, we have got 16 records in departments. Let us see if we at all have we got 16 or not in departments. Yes, we have got 16 in departments. And in product locations, how many? We have got 15 records. Don't go with the number. See, there is a break after 7. We have got 10, 20, 30. So altogether, we have got some 14 rows. So let us see if we have got 14 rows in table product location or not. 14 rows, yes, perfect. So this is how we import data from flat files. Let it be like I've shown you with Excel files. You can also work on the same with CSV files and some text files, whatever it is. So that's it. This is all about the different ways to import data into a database. That's all for today. Thank you.